And Jerry, if you are subscribed to our YouTube or Facebook, you can just share with your followers on Facebook. Just share. If you can share with your network.
As the
Okay.
clock strikes 7, the vitalize. Inner circles here where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come one, come all, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. Inner Circle podcast where hearts unite. Sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the...
Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, February 19th, and it is our usual business and finance segment, and we are in the month of love, as Miss B would like to call it. So tonight, our topic is money and marriage strategies for managing wealth as a couple. So tonight, we're going to do a deep dive into that. Love and money, the two most powerful thing in this world. Two most powerful forces. So tonight, we're going to be discussing that. Have a special panelist, with us tonight. His name is Jerry. Obviously, you get to know him a little bit. But my name is Abe Kamara, your usual host. And so tonight we're going to be deep diving into this topic of love, as Miss B would like to call it. So again, I'm your host Abe Kamara, and welcome to the Inner Cycle Podcast, where we bring you interesting conversations. We bring you different topics that affect our community, affect folks, and just like to have a good conversation. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, wherever you're watching us from. Please follow us on YouTube, on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, follow us on LinkedIn. Anywhere you get your podcast, on Apple Podcasts, download Inner Cycle Podcast and Spotify. And so thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. So again, I'm your host, Abe Kamara. We'll go around the room and introduce the panelists. Jerry, man, welcome to the show for your first time. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we immediately let the audience get
Oh,
to know you a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah, definitely. So my name is Jerry. Again, thanks for inviting me to come on today. I'm very happy for the opportunity to talk about marriage and finance.
Good.
I've been married for 18 years, but sometimes it feels like forever. Uh, we have two kids and a very high maintenance dog. So yeah, again, Abe, I'm really excited to be here, and
Yeah.
thanks for the invite again.
Thank you so much, my man, Jerry. Miss B.
Good evening, everyone. It's your girl, Miss B, and just welcome you, Jerry, to the conversation. I think you already started a couple of questions here brewing in my head, so I'm excited to have you on the show tonight. And don't worry, Abraham's going to take some jabs at us, and but it's going to be fun. So come on, everyone, let's get settled in.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for that. Thank you so much, guys, for that. And Jerry, man, it's a free flow conversation, right? Cycle podcast. We here, I will, as Miss B said, I might show some stuff in there, but no worries. We're just here to flow, to give our, educate folks out there who are, who sometimes look forward to such a topic. And then here comes another great panelist, Taylor May from the great state of Iowa. Iowa, the man is joining us. Welcome, Taylor May. Let me give you the floor quick, to introduce yourself, before we jump into the topic. Taylor May, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead, man. Introduce yourself quick to our audience, and then let's jump into things.
How's everybody? Taylor May, aka Eddie Taylor, New York City, Iowa.
Okay. Miss B, why you chose this topic? Money and marriage strategies for managing wealth as a couple. Why? Why this topic?
Because I just see a lot of couples in our African community
Mm-hmm.
who look like they have it, but when you sit down and really get down to the business of it, they don't, because one person is a spender and the other person, is a saver, likes to save. And so, and it's a big part of a lot of the fights, right? Like when people argue, sometimes the thing you're arguing about is not really the problem, and you don't want to get to the root cause of the problem. And at the heart of most of these problems is finances, because even my husband says when money's flowing, he's like, I flow and I glow differently, right? And it's the truth. It's the truth. And so I just want us to be more honest about where we are with our finances to each other, and just being honest about, and have that honest conversation when it comes to money and marriage. And I believe, like, when you first start dating, that first date, you should start having that conversation.
Okay. Well, we have passed out of the Disney stage. We have discussed all of those things. So we know with money and stuff like that. So tonight we'll focus on the married couples and things like that. But Jerry, why do you think money is the biggest source of tension in a marriage? Especially like Miss B said, right? So especially in our African community, right? There's that. You might have folks on social media where in like everything might be okay, man, but when you get to know them in person, man, there's so much iceberg there. You know what I mean? So, but why do you think money is sometimes a source of tension in a marriage?
Um, to be honest, they say it's what money makes the world go around. If if like Miss B said, if there's no money at home, I mean, people tend to act different. I know
Mm,
for a fact that I've been married for 18 years, so when things are hard or we can, make up or pay certain bills, I can feel the pressure as a man, and
mm,
she does too. So, um, to answer your question, it's psychological. I personally feel like, gone were the days where people marry without the intent of money being involved. Like right now in this current day and age, there are so many things that we all need and want as people. So without money, the love feels different. And
mm.
that's just my opinion. So
Mm.
definitely, money plays a big part
So, I
in
mean,
relationships.
okay. Well, Taylor man, he's saying Jerry is saying without money, love is different. So, can there be true love without money? Is there anything that true love then? If without money being in the middle, two people who are married, can there be true love in such a relationship if the money, without money? Taylor.
Nowadays, let me be honest with you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I will say yes, maybe I will say no. For this time that we are living, uh, if you rightfully hear from Miss B and other gentlemen, they are not lying. For marriage to work nowadays without money, they have
Mm-hmm.
to take the message of God, Jesus, and his 12 disciples, including Moses. Maybe you have to pray fast for 40 days, 40 nights. Maybe that one, God is going to bless you. I don't know. But what they are saying is truth.
Mm-hmm.
Everything nowadays is money.
Okay.
Everything that surrounds everybody is money. Love nowadays is considered money. So people are not falling even in love for people if you don't have money. They are just pretending. It's money.
That's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Okay. Miss B though, right? It's like I mean, you've been in your relationship. Like, what's the one strategy do you guys use? Maybe like let's just maybe go to the wealth aspect of it for managing wealth. What's the one strategy that worked for your relationship, that worked for your marriage?
I would say what has been from the get go is we're both ambitious people,
Mm,
right? And so when he met me, I was on this trajectory to I'm going to be CEO of somebody's company. You know, I'm going to live downtown. I'm going to buy the condo. And that's where I was at when he met me.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that, yes, he was in line for all of that, but he was like, oh, I'm going to have my company and I want a house in the suburbs. And so, of course, you know, I ended up in the suburbs with the house and the dog and the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the core of all of that is that we were both thinking the same way, wanting those similar things. And from the beginning, we were having those conversations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I'm just I communicate a lot and I'm a transparent person, and maybe other women aren't, but that's just with me from the beginning. You know, like I said, when he met me, I told him, you know, what I was doing with my credit, how I was working, where I've been, you know, why I have an old car, and the car is not my priority. I think the house will help me to take care of the car. So those conversations were happening from the beginning. And I saw him, he was, you know, selling used cars, right, part-time. And so we were seeing what his hustle and my hustle met each other, and we started to groove, and it was making sense. And from the beginning, those conversations were happening, right? And I don't think that happens in most relationships, and that is a huge problem.
Okay. Jerry, then to that point, why don't you think, you know, especially in our African immigrant community, right? Is that you see couples married for a long time, but sometimes they are still financially struggling, right? The whole issue of building wealth doesn't really exist. And to me, the essence of marriage, right? Two people coming together, right? And they should build together. But nowadays, you see, it's like, man, some of these marriages like roommates. Why you think that is?
I mean, to be honest, like Ms. B said, you got to start off on a good note. Like the foundation has to be natural. You know, you got to get each other, even when you're not talking. You know, you're talking in silence. You know, so you know, for me, I look at it this way, right? You got to hold each other accountable. You know, and have high expectations for yourselves.
Okay.
You know, if I'm here doing one thing and my wife is doing another thing, it doesn't work like that. So sometimes we got to sit back, relax, you know, determine or analyze what the goals are.
Yeah.
And come up with a strategy to execute. You know, so to answer your question, my main talking point about this question is to be, you know, accountable, and spend time, you know, reviewing on things like where you are financially, where you're heading, how can you, you know, come up with a plan to get to the next level. And these are the main things that, you know, I think we are lacking in today's you know, environment when it comes to relationships.
Sure. Taylor, then what do you think are the key conversation, right? Every couple should be having early in a relationship, especially when it comes, especially in a marriage, right? Because I think, as I said, as I mentioned earlier, marriage should be about two people coming together to trying to build and to build up, especially like, you know, build wealth and things like that. So what should be the key conversations, you know, early on as newlyweds and throughout, you know, the relationship and throughout the marriage? What should be the key conversations?
Finance.
So everything should always be money when you're talking money. Is
Not
that
so much. I don't think not so much money, but if you look at what everybody's saying now, it's money. And then at the end of the day, if it's not money, you should also think about maybe who is the most, what do you call it? Person in a relationship who's more responsible. You understand what I'm saying? Because when it comes to maybe paying bill, you have to understand that between man and a woman, maybe the woman is the person who's very strong when it comes to that. Maybe it's the man. So from the beginning of the relationship, you will know who have even the worst spending habits.
Okay.
That person that have the worst spending habit, you cannot be that person that will be able to take care of what I'm talking about, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to put that, if it's Ms. B, for instance, maybe Ms. B is the one that who's the most responsible person to take care of all of this. So make sure maybe the rent is paid on time, high payments on time, maybe child daycare on time, there's food in the house on time. So you have to be able to put that in that person's hand. There's no reason for fear, because from the beginning of the relationship, you know you're strong, you know who's strong and who's weak when it comes to, you know, the financial aspect of it. So Maybe if you failed on that part, because that is the ground root of it. And if you
Mhm.
failed on that part, that means you're putting yourself in a very dangerous zone at the end of the day,
Okay.
because that's where they all start from.
Okay.
And you should not have sympathy because, or what they call empathy, because maybe I want to feel sorry that I love my wife too much. Or maybe I love my husband too much. Or you know what? I don't want to say anything that way that Miss B is going to feel bad that I'm hurting her feelings because she like to go shopping all the time. Like the brother said, Jerry said it right, because you have to be able to balance. When it's not time to buy that pair of shoes, don't buy it. If you have a goal that you have to maybe plan, maybe in 2 years, you want to buy a house, you have to understand that you need to grind, because at that time, it's more need than want. So if you can put those things in front, now everything will balance, Abi.
Okay. Okay. I like to, let's say, right, like in every relationship, I like to jokingly say, right, there should be a CFO and a CEO, right, or maybe a COO, right, or the chief operating officer. Certain people they like to, they know how to operate and things like that. Right? They know how to do things. To Taylor May's point, right, they know how to maybe like balance the checkbook, or go buy groceries or pay the rent. So Miss B, who is the COO and who is the CEO in your household, in your marriage?
I'm probably the COO and he's the CEO. And I say that because the person sometimes that has the strategy does not have the ability to manage. And that's what I tell people sometimes. It's like management is about logistics and leading. It's about having strategy. There's some people who have great ideas, they have great strategy, but they don't know how to put the logistics together to make sure those things come to fruition. And that's where your partner comes in sometimes. My husband is very ambitious. He does the sales for the business. He does the sales, right? He's great at talking with people, social, charismatic, and everything. Everything, all the administrative pieces behind doors, that's me. Like I'm the operations manager. I'm the chief office operator, whatever, the COO.
COO.
Because
So you are the COO.
yeah, I want to make sure the business money is making sense, what's going in, what's coming out. I want to make sure everything gets paid on time. I feel so good every month being able to pay every single bill, right? And that is my happiness. And when he sees me smiling, that's when he's like, yeah, man, you look so different when money's involved. But no, it's a serious conversation. People need to be honest about what their strengths are, right? And I think, back to what Taylor May was trying to say, is you need to know who is the saver and who is the one who is the spender. But people sometimes don't be honest with themselves that, I don't have a great relationship with money. And you bring that into the relationship or your marriage, and you're going to cause that marriage harm. And sometimes not intentional, right?
Yeah.
But you just feel because you're able to make money, so then you are making good decisions when it comes to your money. No, not just because you are able to always have money coming in means that you're having a good relationship with money. No.
Okay.
How is that money coming in, and how are you when it's going out? What is the return on that investment when it goes out there? That's important to that.
Okay. Jerry, then I'll ask you the same question, but different one, right? Who is the CEO, COO, and who is the CFO in your household? Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer. Who is that in your household? In a Jerry's household?
Yeah, so I'm the CFO.
Oh, okay.
My household, my wife is a CEO.
Okay.
She manages everything. I mean, sometimes I don't even know how she do it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think my job is to think about money in different ways we can make money and maybe grow our wealth and all the extra stuff. And sometimes I have to really run it back to her to make sure we all align. I remember the other day I was looking on YouTube and I found an ad about some investment, and I ran it to her and she was like, So yeah, she may be the COO, but she's also she has her ears and eyes wide open and make sure I don't do the wrong thing, because you know how it is out there nowadays. But to the point, she's very good at making sure that everything, we have the groceries, the food, and the what do you call this, the storage with food, everything is all set.
The pantry got food,
Exactly.
everything.
Pantry, yep. She does all of that, and my job, like I said, I pay the bills, and for the most part, she's also involved in it. She used to pay the bills. She
Mhm.
she used to pay the bills, and like Miss B said, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And she that pressure,
Yeah.
when,
Okay.
of paying the bills, or sometimes not able to meet deadlines, and
Mhm. Yeah.
it kind of put a lot of pressure on her. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, I'll take care of the bills, don't worry about it. And a lot of times, I circle back around,
Yeah.
to make sure that we are spending within our means.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's my job, to make sure, hey, this is our expense, this is our budget, this is what we have for the month.
That's
uh,
what making the CFO. So yeah, those are natural. That's
yeah, make sure you don't overspend. And
yeah.
if she overspend,
Yeah.
we can see, we can have a conversation. And
Mhm.
trust me, it takes a while for
Mhm.
people to break bad habits, but at the
Yeah.
end of the
Yeah.
day, you need to delegate. Everybody
Mhm.
has a special skill set.
Mhm.
Nobody
Yes.
can, we all can do everything.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
for me, my strength is money, how to
Mm.
grow money, how to manage money, how
Mhm.
to, all that stuff is my strength. And her
Yeah.
strength is making sure that, the operational side, she keeps the house, going.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
would say, yeah, I'm the CFO, she is the COO.
Okay, that's good. Folks, tonight we are discussing money and marriage strategies for building wealth as a couple. It's a very, very important topic. A lot of folks in our community, especially married folks, they mentioned that they've been married 10, 15 years. They just earning that paycheck. They are not building wealth, or they are not managing their wealth. They are just working and paying those bills. So please, you can contribute to the conversation. You can call our number 817-600-1525. Our panelists are doing great, providing us some great advice, great education, and things like that. Tell me, who do you think make a better CFO? The lady or the male?
I
The
mean,
lady or the man? Who's the better CFO?
to be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Host, you know
Mm-hmm.
that the world that we live in, you cannot live. I know that maybe sometimes if you see that women they are taking over this universe
Mm-hmm.
as I speak, and you know, I think to me it depends on the individual themselves. Because everybody hustle is different.
Mm-hmm.
And in a relationship, maybe sometimes you see that maybe the wife is even the most, serious person when it comes to even managing money.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes maybe in another relationship, you see that is the man. So that's a very tricky question, to be honest
Okay.
with
Okay.
you. So to
Okay.
me, it depends on the individual, or the marriage couple themselves, because they are the one that inside the marriage, they know, okay, you have bad spending habits, so you cannot do this. Maybe I'm the one who good at saving money, or maybe you are not good at doing it. But what I say, I would like to piggyback off of what Miss B and was that Jerry? Her name is
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what Jerry said. You see, for me, the way in which maybe I believe that, in my opinion, respectfully, agree with them.
Yeah.
Sometimes I believe that, if you love somebody, this whole CFO and CEO,
Mm-hmm.
because quite frankly, this world, we are not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? Sometimes maybe you are going to travel. Maybe sometimes sickness will take into the relationship. So what
Mm-hmm.
I do is like, what I do, I try that as much as I can, to get my wife involved in what if it's the part of the CFO or maybe CEO. What do I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that? It's because maybe sometimes if I'm not home and I'm the one that good at even buying grocery, if I'm not home, my wife is also capable of taking that road as well.
Mm-hmm.
They did that maybe if I'm far away and these bills are due. So my wife is also taught as well, and she teaches me other stuff. That okay, so you are not here. This is what you do when I'm not here. So
Okay.
that way, both party is becoming strong in so many different ways.
Mm.
That way that they support one another. That way, if this person is not even here, that other person can substitute. And if that
Okay.
person is not here, that person still have the strength to balance the equation
Yeah.
for both couple.
Okay. So what you're talking
That's
about
that's
there
what
is
I
like
believe.
collaboration, right? Teamwork
Yeah,
to you is more important rather than having those, separate roles, right? Teamwork to you, like, and collaborating on these different maybe tasks, right? Because someone might have a strength somewhere. You might have a strength in the management aspect of the money, and then your wife might have strength in being the CEO, where in like, she buys the groceries, she does things, she makes sure the kids are taken care of. But to your point, is like you want to make sure that it's a teamwork.
Yes.
Everyone. Okay. Okay. Ms. B, I think you should address this. Well, what if two people have possessed the same strength? It's happening, right? Maybe the two of them is stingy the same way. Two of them, meaning like two of them like to two of them know how two of them know money, two of them know how to do everything to get like everything, right? How do you delegate, right? To Jerry's point earlier, how do you delegate? What advice do you have for partners who possess the same strength? To this question here.
That is very tough, right? Because if we're both bad with money, we both are
Mm,
extravagant, and we
mm,
both don't know how to pay bills.
mhm,
I've seen it, whereas eventually one person is going to want better
mm,
and they're going to leave that situation. I've seen it so many times. Like recently, you know, Jane Doe and John Doe were together for 10 plus years with kids.
mhm,
John has left Jean to go marry somebody else now because
mm,
the things that he recognized, eventually you're going to recognize what are your weaknesses, right? And you need somebody to come in and
mhm,
where you fall short to pick up for you. And he
mhm,
honestly realized that, yes, I know how to go and hustle and make that money, but Jean has these bad habits, right? Where I turn around, just how I've made the money's gone.
mm,
And again, been there for a long time, 10 years, hoping that, she's going to change her habit. We have kids together, but he didn't marry her. And here it is, married to somebody else because why? Oh, she's good with money. She knows how to make sure the bills get taken care of. And it's so unfortunate that, he couldn't get that partner he had invested all that time with, even had kids with, to finally make that final commitment with her because of those habits. And so, if you have people who are both possessing negative
mhm,
qualities
mhm.
that combat each other's ability to move in forward and grow, it's ultimately going to clash. It's going to end, unfortunately.
Jerry, dude, let me push you a little bit. Does it have to clutch, right? It's like two people. I mean, I think in that situation it has to be give and take, right? Someone have to realize, maybe like okay, I realize two or maybe like we like to eat out, we like to spend money, we like to buy Jordans, and we like to do stuff. Someone got to realize, man, is that we can't just be living paycheck to paycheck every time, right? There has to be give and take. Someone maybe have to drop back. Does it have to lead to a situation where in like the relationship or the marriage have to end because of two bad habits?
I mean, you know, it shouldn't be this way. If you
Mm-hmm.
get to that point where you know both of you guys don't learn your lesson, buying Jordans and eating out, knowing you got bills to pay, those are two weaknesses, both bad habits from each side, right?
Mm-hmm.
At some point, one person has to take the lead and say, "Hey, yeah, we both have bad habits, but I recognize these are our issues that we need to resolve, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I may be the bigger person to adjust my ways so we can keep this relationship going. And along the line, you can pull your partner along or maybe
Mm-hmm.
educate them in different ways. But in situations where you don't even know what you're doing wrong and you
Mm-hmm.
still stuck in the old way, like
Mm-hmm.
Miss B said, it's not going to work. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, it's going always going to be a clash. I'm all for two strength, and somebody asked a question about what if
Mm-hmm.
both sides has the same strength about the
Yeah.
same thing. I
Yeah.
think it's a plus.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you work together on your strength, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever you can do, maybe hire somebody to do for you. Um, you
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
that's let's say you bad up you have bad spending habits, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hire a financial professional, somebody who understands how money works to
Mm-hmm.
really help you guys through it and hold you
Mm-hmm.
guys accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the problem is if both of you have the same weaknesses or weakness,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't tell how to get out from it,
Yeah.
that's where you have issues. So,
Okay.
in a way, two strengths can take you a long way, and
Mm-hmm.
two weaknesses can bring you down at the same time. So
Okay.
you just need to find, what
Yeah.
works and what not.
Okay. Taylor, then, a lot of folks in our community, Jerry's point, right? Avoid the money conversation. I mean, it's like, like Inner Cycle podcast here. We have made it intentional to make one day just about money. As I said, it's like to make one day, because our community, folks like to avoid the money conversation. That seems like a taboo, but Jerry point earlier, right? Money makes the world goes around. Without money, to you guys' point here, you can't do anything, especially in a marriage. Why do folks like to avoid those money conversation, like building wealth? Maybe they're about a house, maybe they're planning for this. And why is that conversation sometimes so difficult in our community?
I give you maybe 2 or 3 good reasons. Number
Okay.
one,
Mm-hmm.
that's come with trust issues.
Mm. Mm.
Second aspect of it, either maybe the man or a woman maybe makes more money than the man,
Mm.
and they don't want to disclose it, because you have to understand that if some people build wealth on their own,
Mm.
and maybe that they have this amount of money that the
Yeah.
other person didn't have, and I was
Yeah.
not maybe with you when I gathered
Mhm.
this money. You have to understand that all these things maybe bring friction in marriages nowadays and relationship, because people are getting married to people because maybe, okay, so the person have money. Okay, maybe I just want to marry them maybe for a few years. After that few years, maybe I want to break up with them. Maybe if I sue them, I'm going to get this amount.
Oh,
So now that you're laughing, now that boys that do what they call maybe prenup, and they know
yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Okay. You
because
see, you
they will
let them
they
jump
will
ahead of that. Let me hold you there. Let me hold you there, Tito. You let them jump ahead of yourself. Prenup is our last series in this
okay,
whole month of love. Prenup
no,
is the last one. So don't jump ahead of yourself. Wait for that one. Wait for that one.
okay, no, Allah, no problem. So yeah, so if you look at what's happening in the world nowadays, that's what's taking place,
Mhm.
because again, finance is a very big thing inside relationship that we are talking about. Even from a man or maybe woman aspect of it. I don't care how you look at it. So that's those 2 things that I just mentioned.
Mhm.
It's a very key factor,
Mm.
very
Trust.
big in relationship.
Yeah. Trust.
So
Trust. Miss B then is like, is it even possible to build wealth if two folks are together but they don't trust each other, right? He's talking about the issue of trust, and that's a huge thing in our community, right? Folks just don't trust each other. But why should I marry someone that I don't trust with my money, or I don't trust to share things with? Why should folks even go into that relationship? Because again, I will keep stressing here, the essence to me of marriage is building wealth. That's what the Caucasian, right? That's the reason why they go into marriage. Other than that, is that you guys will just be roommate. But why should two people go into that holy matrimony and they don't trust each other?
That's why I say it all starts with picking well. Michelle Obama was doing an interview and somebody was asking her some advice too, because she's been married to, President Obama for a
Mm-hmm.
long time. And
Mm-hmm.
it really does start with picking well. And because this is the thing,
It's a
it,
picking well. How do you pick
picking
well?
well,
Yeah, how do you
because
pick well?
I don't know if it's just me, not to be cocky or anything, but all
Uh,
my
uh,
boyfriends, they were all
yeah.
hardworking people. I never drew, uh, you know, low life or lazy people. That my spirit
So
never
are you
drew them to
saying are
be.
you saying there are ladies in our community that choose lazy dudes and stuff like that, or they are not
You
picking
see
well?
Mr. Popular, and all Mr. Popular has to show is is his good looks and his expensive clothes. But you
Mm.
don't know what is behind that good looks and expensive clothes. And you will see Mr. Popular being exposed from one girl to the next on social media, but you must go there. You think you will be the one to what is it? Tie the waves, right? You're a
Mm.
snowboarder, you're gonna take that big wave and you're gonna team it. No, so already you're setting yourself for failure when you can see people may try to hide, but they can't hide, they can only hide so much of themselves. You can see it, right?
Mhm.
If the first time you go out to a date, right? He wants to take you to the most expensive restaurant ever, but yet
Mm.
he's probably driving a Nissan Altima, but he's taking you to a restaurant with a Maserati type bill, right? That's a sign right there. That's a
Hey.
sign right there that he's just trying to impress me, right?
Mm.
Because the other day the guy was on the social, he was on some radio. He's like, man, I'm tired of investing in these dates. $250 meals, it adds up. Restaurant meals, it adds up, right? And if
Mm.
you see that guy is always taking girls to expensive restaurants, then that's just his MO to get with that girl. There's something, he's on a different mission.
Mm.
And so I said, you got to pick well, because 18 years, congratulations, Jerry. My husband and I too will make 18 years this year.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It hasn't all been rosy. Like in 2010, I got laid off from my job. We have a new house, a new baby, right? And here it is, we've lost this income, right? And so thank God, first of all, he was a hardworking person, right? And he knew now he had to take on the responsibility to the point where I'm going to get an extra job, right? That's how you know you've chose well, because when there's storm, what are they doing in the midst of the storm? And this was 2010. And now we're stuck in there. We managed it, and we are growing, and we have all these things where we have accomplished together. So picking well from the beginning, having those conversations from the beginning, like when I met him, he met me. Because sometimes you have a girl, she's very educated, right? But she just likes to go to school and she doesn't like to work. So you have to really understand, what are people's future? What are their ambitions? What are they good at? What are their strengths, right? And even what are their weaknesses?
So Jerry, then to that point, I mean, Miss B say you gotta pick well. I know that we have had a conversation where like some folks say you should do background check, but besides that point, now we're talking about, you guys are in a marriage, right? It's like, how do you navigate situations wherein that you feel that you're just living paycheck to paycheck, right? It's like you guys are working, making money, right? To income, but things are just hard. How do you navigate those challenges?
I mean, it all goes back to pushing each other, right? If
Okay.
I mean, we
it's a pushing each other. So is it that folks in our community then especially I like to focus on, like, as I said, right, is that the one thing here, like at Inner Cycle Podcast, I like to drive this conversation towards our community, because to me the difference between the Caucasian and those that are wealthy, right, is like that drive is so much different than our drive, right? So to your point, how do we push each other, or what it is that we don't push each other enough in our community?
that's it's all relative, man. If the way I look at it, I can use my own personal experience, when we got married, we were renting, and there's nothing wrong with that, and then we moved on to a townhouse, and then we bought our house, so when you are in that space of renting, and you have to kind of move up the ladder, that journey, I always say this, man, the journey it's fun to have somebody with you along the way, because then what happens is you get to learn their strength and their weaknesses along the way. When they get to a point when you get to the point where you can't push it no more, she can actually lift you up and help you navigate through the storm, and get to that next level. Because we all get to a certain level where sometimes we can't push anymore, or we get tired. You don't have that energy, right? So you have your partner to help you push you through the finish line. Now, to your point, or to your question, how do you do that? In my example, I'm very ambitious, so I didn't need any motivation, but all I need is some emotional support.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody's different. I'll say this: like, my wife is, emotional person, and sometimes I can be, not too emotional in certain things. So we kind of help each other out a lot, and when I'm down, she's there to support me and push me up. So it's all relative, man. Like, everybody is different in how they navigate through these times to lift each other up. So
okay, yeah, thanks for that. Taylor, in a marriage, two couple marriage, is it better to merge finances completely as a married couple, or maybe just keep some separate, combine some, and the other one? Is it, as a married couple, is it better to merge the two finances completely and like just bring it together at once? If that 10 bank account, everybody on that 10 bank account. If that 50 bank account, everybody on that 50 bank account, whatever investment, it should be merged completely. Nothing, no 5%, no this, no that. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I will say this to you. I think maybe there's a twist to it. Go back to Genesis from what I was saying, because you can imagine if somebody who has labored for their money, and maybe that person is a millionaire, and they just met this person, and then they decide to fall in love with that person. You cannot tell somebody like that, say, bring out of your millions because I married Mary. Because
It's
Mary is
two shall
just.
become one, though. Two shall
I
become one.
understand what you're saying. Yes.
Become one.
Okay, now you see what you're saying. That you know that when I jump in front, you say that you are going to go to prenup later. But that's what you're saying. That's Mr. B, do you understand what I'm saying? So
I do.
Yeah, so that's where that comes from. Because at the end of the day, people want to know that, okay, if even I decide to put all my money with this person, what if at the end of the day that you don't even know that this person, if they love you for real, maybe they heard about you, that's the reason why they decide to come and target you. Now that you have settled and put all of the money there. What if that person maybe 5 years later, they said, that, oh, you know what, I don't like John, or I don't like Mr. Ozebi. Let me find my own way. What's going to happen? Are you not losing everything that you have invested in that person? So people that have already gathered their own cash, some people will tell you, okay, you know what, I think I like this person. Let me just bring whatever money that we can join together. Or maybe if you, somebody like you, maybe if you are very loaded, maybe a girl will not bother. She will say, okay, let me bring maybe my $2,000 and manage to your $500,000. Will you agree to that, Mr. Host?
If I love her, yes, I said two shall become one. If you love her, right, there shouldn't be any hesitation there. Why would you even want to get into a situation wherein like you feel, as I said, I don't think it should get to the marriage point. If you feel there's no, I mean, you brought about trust earlier, right? It's like if I feel, you know, I mean, to me, it shouldn't at that point now, right? It's like once you get married, to me, it should be 100% combined, 100%. That's my personal opinion there. It should be 100% combined.
Can I say
Well,
something?
I know.
Wait, one at a time.
Go
One
ahead.
at a time. Taylor, are you? Jerry, say something quick, then we'll go back to Taylor. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna respond to his statement about you know. I think you know you get to feel each other out when you first get married, right? And you know, in a way, he has a point where at what point do I merge? And it kind of depends. But when you get to, you know, 18 years and, you know, like Miss B said, at some point, you know, you've seen it all. It's like, okay, you know, having that joint account definitely helps. It can bring you guys even closer than you think. I'm not saying don't have a separate account. You can also have your own separate account to fund your bad habits, right? But if you know, you guys live together, sometimes, you know, having that joint account does help you guys, you know, figure out, you know, how to navigate through a lot of storms. So,
okay, but let me push you guys though. It's at a certain point. Why we even get into a marriage, right? If you feel like you guys, if you guys get married, your finances are not going to be merged 100%. Why would you even want to get into a marriage with someone if I feel like, hey, I don't trust you that our finances is going to be merged 100%? Why would I even put myself in that situation? Till I will go back to you, and then maybe we'll come back to Jerry later.
Yeah, you're asking me?
Yes.
What was the question again, please? I beg.
Why would any man or any female put herself in a situation where, right, it's like if you're not ready to merge those finances, why would you want to even marry that person? Because you don't trust them that is it two shall, again, as I said, two shall become one. Everything, it should be one. There should be no separation.
You heard that what Jerry said earlier. It's true. Last time when I was here, I also alluded to the same question that you asked. Let me just be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with a man and a woman putting money together. I don't think that is a problem, because Jerry is 100% right. If you have this joint account, it helps you to move faster. You see that the money starts to grow even faster. Again, unless maybe there's somebody who's loaded. If somebody is loaded than the other person, that's where sometimes you see the separation going to come, because that person would not want to put their money without other person's money. And to answer to what you are saying, you're right. When you're married, of course, I want to bring all that I have on the table to join with you. But you have to understand that maybe at a certain point, maybe somebody will say that, okay, maybe before we met, was doing this, I have this separate money. Before we met, you, John, you have this separate money. So whatever that's yours, start to keep it. Whatever that was mine, let's keep it. Let's start from here now to start this joint account. So some people does that as well. And I don't think if you refuse that offer, that means that you are waiting to start problem in the marriage or relationship, because that person will look at you to say that, okay, so you don't want to accept this offer, meaning because your money is low, I have a lot of money. You want me to just bring it overnight and drop it inside the bank account. It does not work like that. So you have to understand that that person will tell you that, okay, what you have before we met, that's your personal saving. What I have, that's my personal saving. So let's start afresh. So back to what Jerry was saying, that way that there will be less confusion. Nobody will have this complaint that, okay, I have more money than you and I brought this amount. Because you have to understand that if there's fight, when there's a fight between that man and the woman, you will hear all that problem. They will tell you everything that they want to tell you from Genesis to Revelation. They're going to tell you. So to avoid all of those problems, what I'm saying, what you have, leave it like that. Start from Genesis, from this beginning here, and just start to do everything together. I think that way that you make everybody happy. If you start going into somebody's account before they met you, you'll start problem too. They will start fight with you now.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. And then I have a follow-up question to that, but go ahead.
Okay, let me put a different spin on it. Why am I worried about my husband not telling me about all the money that he has? As long as my bills are paid every month, we're not struggling, right? I can see me worrying, having that concern that, oh, he told me he only has $500,000, but he really has $1 million. If we're here and lights are being turned off, food is not in the refrigerator, there's no gas in my car, things are going undone because apparently to me, we're having financial issues. And here it is, this man has money that I don't know about. I think that's when you might want to be concerned. But if you are being taken care of, all your needs are being met and your wants are being met as well, you shouldn't be worried about the fact that somebody may have $5,000, $10,000 somewhere sitting that you don't know about. That is not the end of the world.
Okay.
For me, 18 years, my husband never once has seen a pay stub, a paycheck. He doesn't ask me how much I make or when I get paid. I think my daughter knows more about when I get paid because I have a habit of telling her when I get paid next week, till she started to realize which day was my payday and started telling me, oh, mommy, this is your payday today, But at the end of the day, and we don't do the joint bank account thing. We have a separate bank account. He gives me all the money that I need to pay. I calculate the bills every month. He gives me the money to take care of the bills. And that's how we've operated. And it's worked for me. But if other people need other types of security mechanism, then that's a part of being in the relationship with that person. Whatever makes that person feel secure.
Wait, let finish.
I don't have joint. I don't have joint bank account. No, I don't have a joint bank account. There's a business account in which that we both are on. Yes, because there are things that need to get done for the business. So I go in there to pay bills and he go in there to deposit money for the business account. But he has a separate personal account. I have my separate personal account. But anyway,
how have you guys managed to build wealth with that kind of an arrangement? Because it's like, how have you guys managed to build wealth with that kind of a, as I said, it's like arrangement? It's strange to me. It's like, how have you guys managed to, hold it down and build wealth?
And I think a part of him is okay with that because he knows at the end of the day, she has something extra somewhere. So if I don't have it, she's going to be able to bring it to the table. I think my husband, he sleeps good at night knowing that I'm his plan B. Not that he needs my money, but I'm his plan B. That if something happens where he can't do it or he doesn't have it, Denise has it somewhere stashed away somewhere, which I do. I mean, I put money different places.
Why should married couples have such an arrangement? I'm struggling with that. Why should married couple? Why should I be? Why as a married man be worried about my woman? Or if I mean, she got my back. We already got each other back. Why should I be?
But that's some of the security that you're in a relationship. But Abraham, that's what I'm saying. That's a part of the marriage. You're secure with the fact that if anything happens, this person has my back. Yes.
I know about it. I know that two or guy or something, maybe save at Bank of America or Chase. Wells Fargo is where we do all of our primary stuff. I know two or got something maybe at Chase or Bank of America that, hey, we can't touch it. I know when something happened to me, my woman is going to manage it well, or something happened to my woman, I'm going to manage it well. But why should I be wondering that, if something happened to me, she got something started somewhere. Why should I be worried about that?
Good luck with you, Abraham, because that's why you're single.
I mean, I'm going to if I can find an enrichment way to merge it 100%.
He knows all
I
the
don't
bank
think I'm ever
accounts.
going to
He knows
take
all
that
the
leap.
bank accounts because first of all, I only bank with one bank, Wells Fargo. He knows all the different bank accounts. He knows all the names of the accounts. Does he know how much is in every account? He does not concern himself with that. Yes, that is just him. He feels secure and safe in his marriage, in his home. That has just been him. Maybe you're different where you do need to know all that very detail, where all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. That what makes you feel safe in your marriage or your relationship. Then that's what you need, and that's what your partner should be able to give to you.
Okay, Jared, though, right, as a CFO in your household, right, it's like it's not like what Miss B is describing as such a strange arrangement, because I found out how are you going to build how are you two going to build wealth? If I'm wondering, if you're wondering your wife has something start somewhere, you don't even know about it. You don't even know maybe that's something you could put somewhere.
Why are you wondering? What is causing you to wonder about it?
Because I'm your husband.
Well, why would you wonder? Why would you be worrying about?
Because we could be as a CFO, we could be doing something with that. Jared, y'all CFO, help me out here.
Wow,
yeah.
I mean, I know people that have separate accounts, so I'm not surprised. It's like I said when I made that comment, it was more like it's relative. If it works for you, you stick with it. If you don't, then the joint account works. I'm not gonna lie, like having that. And to Abe's question, I think it's more beneficial to have some sort of an account that will allow you guys to grow your money. If you don't, like, if he doesn't know how much you have and you don't know how much he has in his account, I guarantee you that money could be put to work and build your wealth 3 times over. If and I'm not saying it's a secret. I don't know the dynamics. I've never done that before. But in my opinion, having some sort of an agreement in a relationship on, everything is on the table. That way it allows the CFO to really figure out, okay, all right, we have this money sitting here. What are we doing with it? Let me put that money to work. To me, you build more wealth if both of you guys are on the same page when it comes to money. Not necessarily, hey, you can still split certain responsibilities when it comes to money and everything, but you have to leave everything on the table so whoever understands how money works can actually put that money to work for the benefit of the the relationship or the family.
You are a real CFO, my man, because it's like, I think right, in a situation where those, I think it happens a lot in our community where you have those, sometimes a roommate arrangement, people have different accounts, but there's something missing there. Tonight, Miss B, you chose this topic. We're talking about building wealth, strategies of building wealth as a couple. There's something that you might be thinking, I should have my money somewhere. You might be having maybe $10,000-$15,000 somewhere that could be doing something for us, but because it's like I don't know about it as a CFO or maybe even a COO, you might say, we'll put this to work because you don't know about it. There could be something missing there. But Taylor May, let me come to you though. Is like, what's your take on that? Right? Is like, don't you think that is holding a lot of couples back? People who feel, I should keep mine separate. I mean, as I said, we are discussing building wealth here tonight. It's not just 2 people living together, but building wealth. Don't you think that is holding a lot of people back in our community with this whole, separate account thing? We understand each other, all that thing there, but they have 2 separate accounts. Don't you think it's holding a lot of people back? A lot of couples, married couples.
Mr. Host, let me say this to you. I said this maybe 5-10 minutes ago. Maybe you are not listening. I will say that maybe in another way. Don't always listen to what people say. Listen to what they are not saying. I broke this down earlier. Let me be honest with you. Look, this is not even Miss B business. Maybe just people in general. Believe this or not, Maybe one of these days you come back and say, maybe this guy is a Senkota. If you see situation like this, most of the time in marriages, that means one of the partner have the most money than the other person.
Okay.
It's not all the time that you see that maybe they will be very transparent to say that maybe, oh, you know what, Jared, let me just do this, you do that. When we meet in the middle, we'll solve this problem. That's not what happened. Somebody have the most money than the other person. That's why this problem. And I told you, I said, when that understanding is between that man and the woman, they can say that, okay, what you have is yours before I met you. What I have is mine before I met you. We can start to have this joint account from here. And we can walk our way up there. But if you cross that path, I'm telling you this now, ask everybody in this panel. If you cross that path now to try to force that person to say, hey, so you don't want to do this, that means that, you know, this marriage is not going to work. Automatically, you are making that person to feel like you are after them because of their money. That's what it is. That's just the bottom line to it. In that case, one person have more money than the other person. You cross that line of demarcation. When it comes to money, you cross that line. If somebody is well loaded than the other person, you are about to start problem. You should be ready for that fight. That's just the bottom of it. One have money more than the other person, and they are trying to protect what they have. Is that simple?
Okay, Miss B, then folks, tonight let me just post on commotion. Yeah, folks, tonight we are discussing marriage, money and marriage strategies for managing wealth. Let me say not just managing wealth, but building wealth, because a lot of people don't even have wealth. A lot of people don't even have wealth in our community. So managing it as a whole different thing. But building wealth as a married couple, strategies for building wealth as a couple. You know, so tonight that's the topic on the discussion. We have three panelists here tonight giving us some great education. Miss B can always surprise me, but I don't know how she's building her wealth, but sometimes she can always surprise me. But hey, what do like culture, right? Cultural beliefs have to play into this, like into how does it impact couples coming together and building wealth, especially married couple? What does, like, you know, some of us from across the ocean there, we hear, and then, you know, two people together, what the culture has to do all of this, especially building wealth, you know. And to that point is like, you know, to your point earlier about the whole separate account thing, do you think culture has a part to play into that? Because you don't really find those things in a Caucasian community a lot. And it's like two people marry, everything on the table, to Jerry's point.
That is not true. There's no study that says that most Caucasian marriages have a joint.
It don't have to be studies. You don't need studies to tell you that. That's why I'm not going to carry data. You're letting data business. Sometimes data.
I have Caucasian couples who don't have joint bank accounts. One of the wives, she comes, I'm not going to say her, when I say the last name, very wealthy family here in Minnesota. You know, she's doing very well. Her husband has now married into money. That wealthy family is not having a joint bank account. The husband married her, and he has married.
So to Taylor's point, then because I married, so to Taylor's point, because you married into a wealthy relationship, so you're afraid. Then why marry the person if I
not
get money?
Not about afraid. He has to respect the fact
that that's fear.
Her money is generations long.
Then why she married the nephew? Then why she married the nephew? And she not trusting that to
because she loves him. But because you love him, that don't mean now I'm worth $87 million, and this man, you know, he's working a 6-figure job, working for the vice VP of, you know, Delta Bank or whatever. Now he's going to now come be worth $87 million. No, he's not.
I told you.
That does not, and that does not mean their household is not working well. These people are raising their kids. They're sending them to college. They're vacationing. They're having the best time. But he just understands that his wealth, his wife's wealth, it's not his. Just because he married her, it does not become his. Why?
Yeah. And you know, I agree. I think I agree with Miss B on this, to be honest. Because when you come into a relationship with money, and Taylor made the same comment, right? If I come in a relationship with money and my wife is not, or the other way around, you know, it's so hard to say, okay, let's have a joint account and pick up from there. You know, we may have a joint account, but we that's the thing, we have to grow it, because maybe the way how I got there may be different from how she got there with me, right? So at the end of the day, if I come in with all that money, I may be financially responsible. Maybe she is not. Maybe she needs to learn, or maybe she needs to educate herself on how money works, you know. So, or maybe she's a spender. Maybe I'm not. But that don't mean I don't love her, or that don't mean I married her, so we got to have the same account, right? You come in with your money. She has to learn how to understand your status in a way. That way, you have that bank account later on. You guys work towards building that account. Once she understands and educates herself about that aspect of life, then you can bring it into your world as far as how, you know, net worth and all that stuff works. But to say you're marrying somebody and having all that money, and all of a sudden you have to like combine an account together.
It's not really about the account point, right? Maybe we'll simplify this about account. But if you're if as simple as an account, you can't. I'm saying merge, right? Everything should be one. The finances should be one. Whether she marry me 100 million or 10 billion, everything should be one.
So J-Lo made everything one with Ben Affleck. J-Lo combined everything with Ben Affleck.
Uh-huh.
Are you thinking that's the reality of that marriage that has just now dissolved? That she got to Ben Affleck and everything.
There should be no worries there, though. There should be no worries in no kind of situation.
And look what happened. 2 years later, they're getting a divorce.
You're talking about J-Lo. That's a whole different. That's a whole different J-Lo. You want to bring J-Lo here? That's a whole different. Just saying, we can have a whole show. We can have a whole show on J-Lo. So don't bring.
But so you're stuck on. You cannot equate the success of people's marriages with this joint account or merging everything.
No, it's not so much about joint account. It's about building. It's about building wealth. It's
about building wealth. Yes.
Yeah, it's two people.
Has the inability. Has the inability for people to merge their money. Just because it's not merged does not mean that there's not transparency on who has what either.
It's not about transparency so much. I'm saying they could be leaving something on the table, right? So again, like I go back to Jerry's point at what he said as a CFO, there should be there could be money somewhere who could be utilized.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm transparent, that means you know about that money.
But that's when
however, that money is somewhere else does not mean that it is causing a problem in the marriage and causing a problem where it's not able to build wealth. Not necessarily. You cannot say that. There's rainy day funds, right? There's emergency. There's different type of funds people keep. There's rainy day. There's emergency funds. Those are two different types of funds, right? And and they need to be kept, because rule of thumb is you want to have at least 3 months, 90 days worth of your expenses sitting down somewhere that doesn't get touched. You're not about to invest everything into a product or invest everything into the stock market. You're gonna keep some stuff aside. So if your husband knows you have something aside and he doesn't know how much exactly, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not causing a problem for you guys growing wealth. It does not mean that somebody is hiding something from somebody either.
Okay. Jerry.
I want to end with this, right?
Yeah.
The example I gave works very well for couples coming up together. Like, okay, hey, you know, we young bucks, you know, we both hustling. Let's make a living, or let's come up together, right? But it's not necessarily the same. You can't use the same scenario in a relationship where somebody is coming in with money, because you know that way it would not be fair. Let me give you an example, right? I have a friend who has a rich, you know, spouse, right? She doesn't lack anything. She gets everything she wanted. You know, everything is paid for. But at the end of the day, she felt like I have to ask for everything. I don't need anything, but I always have to ask for everything, right? Why? Because when they got married, he has the money, millionaire. He has the money. She is just, you know, a housewife or whatever, so to speak, right? But then again, they did not have a joint account in a sense that. And it makes sense because you imagine being a millionaire and then you marry somebody and all of a sudden, hey, let's have a joint account. It doesn't make sense. joint account where they'll be able to see everything. I don't think it makes sense. But when you are coming up as a couple, to be honest, to be fair, you that's what the transparency is. That's how you build the wealth together. But when somebody's already coming in wealthy, separate that account and have a joint account too, and make sure your partner or significant other doesn't lack for anything. And that's what I was trying to explain to you guys, that hey, it works well when you're coming up, but it does not work well when one of you is already made it or self-made. So it's all relative. It depends on who.
But okay. I'm glad that, and web as a whole, right? Web as a whole is relative too, because a lot of folks in our community are not millionaires, but someone might be making 100,000 and their spouse is making 50,000. They could take that and say, you know what? If I'm making 100,000, she's making 50,000. We're just starting off. I'm not going to join anything with her because I feel I'm making more than her. Why should that be a factor? You know what I mean, Taylor, right? Because I think, right, especially as we stick to our community, don't forget about the millionaires that maybe go mad. But as we stick to our community, someone might be making 75,000 and someone making 50,000 because I make more than you. You must not going to combine our resources, right? Is that we have to keep it separate. Don't you think? Again, I will come back. Like if that mindset is it's not about to me. This is not about bank account issue. It's about building wealth. Together as couples. It's about building wealth. If we have that mindset, say I'm making more than her, or she's making more than me, and we can join together. Don't you think it's holding our community back from building wealth, especially Black wealth? Taylor May, I'll let you take this first. Ms. B, I know you want to jump in. He said sometimes I say you can confuse me, but let Taylor May jump in here. Taylor, don't you think it is holding our community back because we feel like someone making little more than me, and that shouldn't cause any problem?
Mr. Host, let me say this to you again. It should not cause any problem. It's true. Yeah. I've said this again from the beginning. Think about it. If a man is making $75,000 and the woman is making $50,000, if both of them just met now, they can say, okay, let's join the money. No problem. If somebody is a millionaire or somebody who have maybe in our community, like you said, somebody's making maybe $150,000 and one is making maybe $25,000, right? That person who making the most money, that when you came into this marriage, you met that person, they should be the one to suggest to you to say, let's have this joint account. Because if you are the one who making the less money, if you try to push this towards that person who have the most money than you, they are going to feel in their body, in their mind, in their soul, that you are coming into this relationship because of what they have. And nowadays, what this conversation started about, we started on money. Relationships was just all about money. So if you start to preach this force in marriage, when you are making less to that person, automatically, they will feel that person is coming into the relationship because they want to have what they have.
Okay.
So sometimes they should be the one with the most money. And most of the time, the one with the most money will not be the one to tell you, let's join bank account because they know what they have. But if they introduce that to you, maybe you have won the ladder.
Okay. That's fair. We can't keep dragging this on. Now this is no more than 1 hour show, but it's a very, very interesting conversation. I learn a lot here every night, Cycle podcast. Tonight the conversation is money and marriage, strategies for building and managing wealth as a couple. So as we try to, I'll give you guys maybe 2 more questions here each, and then from there we'll whatever. But Ms. B, how do you guys decide as a couple to make investment decision? How do you guys work together to make investment decision, or do you guys even do that as a couple, or maybe your husband bring an idea to you and you endorse it, or you guys sit down and decide how to invest and where to invest and things like that? How do you guys make those decisions?
Now we can get to some of the other things because you were so stuck on the bank account for the whole last hour.
It wasn't even bank account. I said it's about building wealth. It's not about the bank account. It's about building wealth. But anyway, that's
the key things we're talking about here. Like we all talked about the fact that we know who makes how much, who makes more. So that means transparency is happening in the relationship, right? And because you know who makes what, you're able to say, you know what, you bring this, I'll bring this, and we're going to take this money now and invest here. And that's how my husband and I have been able to do it over the years, right?
Mm-hmm.
We start whenever it was time to make a move, a big financial move. We're not here talking about buying purses and shoes. If we're going to buy a property or we're going to purchase stock, all of those conversations come together, right? That's why I'm like, these are the other things that are happening to make you feel secure in your relationship and know that, you know, you're having honest conversations about money with your partner, that you're not worried about the fact that the joint bank account is not there, because there's not a move that will be made and has not been made in my 18 years without me knowing about it and me being at the forefront about it, right? And, you know, looking at the numbers, bringing all the information that we need to make a move or make a purchase, right? A major financial purchase. I'm not talking about buying purses and shoes here, right? And so that's a part of the strategy. Like from the beginning, I said when I met him, what was I didn't say I was going to go rent a condo. I said I was going to buy. So right there, he knew that I was not somebody who was going to rent. I live with my parents, and I said when the moment I was going to move out of my parents' house, I was never going to rent. I was going to own, and I've never rented. I've always owned. So I have never had to rent anything, right? And so when he met me with that mindset, that got us on that trajectory, right? We own everything we have, right? I always joke about it. I said the only two people I don't mind owing in this country is the mortgage company and IRS, right? That means I'm doing something right. And so you have to have those conversations about what you want to do before you get there. And so now, because I have done a little bit of, you know, my husband and I have done some good, and we're still trying to do more. But there were times when I was driving a hoopty around here, right? You have to know how to tell yourself, I'm going to do what I have to do now so I can do what I want to do later. And that means sacrificing. You don't have to drive the expensive car right away. I'm not buying Gucci and Prada right away. I think it was 2019. I bought my first expensive purse.
Okay. Jerry, in the 18 years of marriage, what's the best financial advice have you guys received as a couple? The best financial advice, or maybe another way, the best financial decision you guys have made as a couple?
I would say diversification is the key, you know. And I think I agree with everything Miss B said. But one thing that we understand now, or what we know now than before, is just the education, the financial education. Our community lacks that. You know, we work hard. We are told to go to school, get degrees, work hard, and then, you know, you got 401k, and, you know, most families do 401ks, this, that, you know, retirement funds, all that. But once I understand how money works, you know, my wife was the first person I had to sit down to educate her and say, hey, you know, we have A, B, and C, but do you know we can have X, Y, Z? And by doing that, she was able to ask the right questions, and you know, maybe in a way, and let me say this real quick. That financial education is the key. So, for instance, I said diversification, right? We know about 401k. How about annuities? You know, how about buying policies? You know,
life insurance.
How about buying? Having IULs. You know, there are so many financial instruments out there that our people do not know. You know, you talk to a lot of people, they say, "Oh, I have 401k," and then they leave it at that, but they don't know a lot of the details. So, you know, how we discuss this, it all goes back to what we talked about earlier, right? If I'm making all this money, and I'm sorry, I had to squeeze this in. If I'm making all this money and I come to on the table with a lot of money, I'm gonna educate my my significant other to really get on board with me. And then once I see my partner understanding how money works, or we can flip whatever we have together, then I can be confident that they are financially literate. You know, they are worth investing in, you know. So a lot of times for us, it's education.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Taylor May, what's the biggest financial myth in a relationship? I mean, in a marriage. What's the biggest thing that people get wrong about, about money in a marriage? What's the biggest myth, financial
Did,
myth in a
did you
marriage?
say did you say get along
No,
or get
wrong,
wrong?
wrong, wrong, wrong. And
Oh,
what's the biggest myth? Yeah, huh?
Like Jerry said earlier, of course, if you are not educated to stuff, and at the end of the day, if you think you can just jump into it, that's you know a death sentence, to be honest. So that's one part of it. I mean, if you look at it from every angle.
Okay. So I think so. Are you saying that financial education is the key? Is the key? But if it is the key, why again? Maybe I'll come back to that question that I asked earlier. Why it is that a lot of us in our community avoid it? A financial education, is it like do we have to be intentional about it? Is it like maybe even if because a lot of people, right, is like, and it is not like a drag on anyone or take a shot at anyone, right? But a lot of most of us did not take financial classes, right? It's like we just everybody know how to pay bills, everybody know how to get credit cards, but do we have to go that extra mile to gain extra financial education as a couple?
Yes, and not everybody knows how to pay bills, to be honest.
Ah, how you be in America is that you don't know how to pay bill.
When I
Help me
say
understand that. Help me understand
because
that.
knowing how to pay bills meaning like when you get paid, you're prioritizing what needs to be paid first, right?
Hmm.
From housing to your utilities, all those different buckets of bills, right?
Hmm.
People don't know what's supposed to get paid first. They
Hmm.
might decide to take that money and satisfy their wants first versus their needs. Those are conversations you need to start having with kids. Your
Hmm.
kids are living in the house, you guys are doing well. They don't know how anything's getting paid. They don't even know, that you rely on getting a payday, and when
Hmm.
you get that payday, how you're budgeting to pay certain bills at the beginning of the month and certain bills need to get paid at the end of the month, right? So you don't assume because everybody knows to go to work and get a paycheck that they know how to pay bills. And
Okay.
that's some of the biggest myths right there. You see an adult and they have a roof over their head, but you really don't know how they're managing all of that because they probably
Mm,
just don't know and they need somebody to come and help them and have that conversation, but you wouldn't know because you're scared to have that conversation.
okay. Taylor May, since you've been married, what's the one thing you wish you could have done differently when it comes to money in your marriage? What's the one thing maybe? What's the one decision when it comes to money you wish maybe that you could have done differently, you and your wife, you guys could have done differently?
To be honest with you, like rightfully said with this partner here from beginning, I would think that maybe like Jerry said earlier, with even joint account. Joint account is something that if you can pick that from the beginning of that relationship to know that maybe if somebody's making 6,000, the other person is making maybe $7,000, maybe every 2 weeks. You know that if you calculate this money, that maybe if you add it up, you'd be talking about maybe say $11,000 every time you guys take pay. And then
Mm-hmm.
plus another 2 weeks, if you know that you add that money to it, you're talking maybe somewhere around 20 something $1,000. If you just decide to take out the rent and all of your expense, you
Mm-hmm.
know that what you are left with is even more. And you times that maybe 12 months in a year, you see that maybe people you are sitting on maybe hundred and some more $1,000 a year. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have a goal that you're working on, you say you have short term, maybe short term or long term goal.
Mm-hmm.
You say maybe okay, in 2 years' time, what are we going to do? Maybe 3 years' time, we want to buy a house. You're
Mm-hmm.
sitting on probably close to maybe at least somewhere around $300,000. You see what I'm saying? So if
Yeah.
for me personally, if you peeped it from the beginning, I would think maybe that was be one of the things that will help not just me but any couple maybe from the get go.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Jerry, like a couple like you who have been married for 18 years, how do you guys make sure you keep your financial goal aligned, right? Throughout, as your circumstances change, right? As you mentioned earlier, come from an apartment to a townhome to a house. As those circumstances change, how have you made sure over the last 18 years that your financial goal stays aligned, doesn't get off track?
So we have sometimes monthly meetings,
Hmm.
or yeah, or quarterly meetings. you know,
Whoa.
because
The CFO is talking.
no, it's very important because
Okay.
what happens is we
Uh,
all have, like I said before, we all have bad habits, right? You have
yeah.
the goals, you have the budget, but
Yeah.
every now and then you turn around and you overspend, you know. Or
Mm,
I would say my wife is a shopper, right? She goes, she just gets up and go to the Target at any time, and maybe she shops, and I'm like, we didn't plan for this, you know.
yeah.
So we have these times where, you know, you're looking at the numbers, you know, and
Mm,
you're like, oh, something is not adding up. So
mm,
how we've managed to get to this point is
mhm,
just having these meetings, you know, these timely meetings to really
mm,
evaluate or review what we're doing. Is it working, and what can we
mhm,
do to change things up to make it better? So I
mhm,
would say that's one of the most important things that has worked for us. And we don't just even meet to talk about bills and budgets and all that stuff. We even
mm,
talk about investments.
mm.
Hey, I heard about this. What do you think? You know,
Okay.
and then she also. So yeah, those are the things that has, you know, we've done over the years that has kind of sustained us. Because there are days, man, where you just go off track and you just want to rewrite the ship.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, folks. We're about to wrap this up. It's been a great conversation on money and marriage strategies for building and managing wealth as a couple. So, as we wrap this up, Taylor May, what message you want to leave with, with folks here tonight, to our audience that have been listening to you? How can they, as married couples, what are strategies you want to share with them for building and managing their wealth as to go along the journey of marriage? What
Building
message you want to leave our audience tonight?
with the message I would love to give tonight, and thanks for having me again, Miss B. It's a pleasure always, and Jerry, pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
I
Taylor
would
May.
say,
I'm a
you know,
fan.
I appreciate it, my brother. Thank you.
Sure.
I would say this to every couple maybe out there. You know, like everybody made a very brilliant point tonight and brought a very great suggestion. But my take on it, my advice to you, even inside Bible said that the two shall become one. The women are supposed to come together with us so that they can help us to join with us
Mm-hmm.
to build something. That's what you are alluding to. Not me
Mm-hmm.
just in the Bible said it.
Yeah.
So I would say that maybe if you are making even whatever money that you are making, you know, I don't think maybe money, you know, nowadays money is the root of all evil, and
Mm-hmm.
it is most of what's happening in this world nowadays, right? Now that we're
Mm-hmm.
talking who makes more, who make less. If you have your partner, you people, you can work together and make whatever that you are making and bring it together and combine that income. What's going to show at the end of the day is that even kids that you have at home, they will see that, you know, mommy and daddy are joining, you know, to do things together. So that when they even they themselves, when they are growing up to, they will know that how helpful be a woman should be to her husband, or how maybe the man should also be helpful to his wife when it comes to maybe this joint account. Because at the end of the day, like Jerry's rightfully said, when you have this budget, you see that you cannot just go to store. You know, when you have a goal, and you people you sit down and plan, you said, okay, maybe we have taken care of all of these bills that we have. Maybe like rightfully said, women they shop more than man. You know, you can say, oh baby, take this amount, you know, go do whatever that you want to do. Because think about it, you know that God gave them fingernails like everybody. They want to have extra. God gave them eyelashes. They will do extra eyelashes. God
Okay.
gave them hair. They'll go travel to Brazil to get Brazilian hair. Now that they have, I told you the other time, they have Japanese hair now that are coming. That one maybe in 2026 is going to come. So they spend more money than a man. They want to buy all these shoes. They want to buy this clothes. They are inside store. So yes. So when this money come underneath the same one umbrella, you people, there will be time that, you know, you can go and do whatever maybe that you want to do. Because if you look at the amount of money, say maybe we have maybe $100,000. There's no way that your wife will say that, oh, you know what, I need maybe $2,000, maybe $5,000 because I want to take care of a girl stuff. You will tell her no. So that's the power of maybe joining money together, because you cannot say maybe at the end of the day, oh, even if you buy a house together because you have this joint account, right? Like somebody was saying that one person make more than the other person, and when the time comes, that person don't have a voice, because you know what? You're almost like a parasite, like a liability. You are just there. But if you join that money with that person and you both join and buy the house together, When the husband even tell your wife, say, leave my house, you will turn around and say, what house? It's our house. How can you say leave the house? Do you understand what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
my advice to you is whatever that you think your wife or your husband is doing, be part of it.
Okay.
They are paying bills. Help to pay some bills. If they are journey to buy maybe this small machine, maybe like computer, go help him maybe put $2 inside to buy this computer. Because that way, when wealth come out of it, you'll say that, okay, I didn't have that much, but when he was doing this, I contributed towards this to make this thing work. Now, so it be.
Yeah.
So that's my advice to you people. So get together, join together, make relationships. It's not difficult, though.
Yeah.
It's not this shakarada where people don't make that. They don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. It work, they cause big problem.
Okay. As
If you
always,
understand one another, life is very easy. You go balance.
as always, my man Taylor May from the great state of Iowa. Jerry, as we close tonight, I mean, great having you here, man. Hopefully, man, become a regular panelist because you got some good knowledge. Is your wealth of knowledge is huge. You know what I mean. So hopefully, you can become a regular here on the Inner Cycle podcast. But as we close it tonight, what message you have to leave with the audience tonight in terms of strategies for building and managing wealth as a couple, especially married couples that have been listening to you eloquently? What's the message you want to leave our audience tonight?
So we all getting older, and once you get older, you see things from a different perspective, when it comes to finances and health, and so it's never too late to get things in order. So one thing I want to tell couples is, find people that you find mentors, like they are there. They can help in different ways. And also, educate yourself about finances. Understand the different instruments that are out there. A lot of rich people, I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of rich people, I'm gonna end with this, right? A lot of rich people, most of them have policies. In our community, we don't even think about that. When you think about, for instance, when you think about life insurance or whatever, we think about, oh wait, do I have to die before I get my money? No. Nowadays, you can live and make, live off of your own policy. You don't have to let something happen to you before you can, people open GoFundMe pages now, and I think people can learn a lot by educating themselves and learning from other people.
Yeah. Well, just one. Let me just throw some weird bit in there. You said people should get mentors. Yeah, our community, when you say mentors, people might say maybe that folk on Facebook or on social media flaunting wealth because hey man, those couples are doing X, Y, and Z, and maybe we want to be like them. They come and say, I just want to throw that in there. Is that the kind of mentor you're talking about, or go out and seek a mentor who's going to educate you about?
I mean, the information is out there.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. I don't watch things that will not be beneficial to me. Nowadays, you don't even have to have a mentor. You just YouTube things that you can find knowledge in. Don't waste your time. And I'm not trying to be judgy here. I don't like. I don't like to watch reality shows that with drama. I want to educate myself on things that I only know I lack, right? I want to, if I lack something, I'm gonna Google or YouTube or find ways to educate myself. So you don't even need mentorship. You can be your own mentor by understanding being self-aware.
Okay.
And researching and understanding how you can change your own personal perspective on things.
Okay. Ms. B, as we wrap up tonight, it is your topic, very passionate about it. As you wrap up tonight, what's the message you want to leave of our great audience out there that tune in tonight, listening to you, telling them to tell their men they might have two separate accounts. But anyway, that's a whole different thing. What message you want to leave with them? Strategies about building and managing wealth as a couple.
Strategies I would say is start talking about money. Start talking about your finances. I agree with Jerry and Taylor May. Find time to educate yourself about different financial tools, different financial wealth building tools. And, even adding to what Jerry talked about, mentor, networking. If any real business person out there knows the importance of networking, that means that if you want to make money, start associating yourself with other people, that like-minded people. If you're a couple, find like-minded couples like you that want to make money. But do your due diligence and make sure these are the right people. They're not fraudulent, and they're going things accordingly, and not telling you about get rich quick schemes. I'm gonna shout out my brother here, LeBrant Speed. He's the founder of the Better Black Business Project. Great networking opportunities. So check them out. I mean, you'll get connected to a wealth of other Black people that are trying to build wealth, other Black couples that are trying to build wealth here in Minnesota. And so again, it's called the Better Black Business Project. It's being ran by LeBrant Speed. Great guy. Gonna shout him out tonight. So that's a jewel that I'm gonna leave with you guys and end on that note. So thanks, Jerry, for joining us. Thanks, TaylorMade. Please do come back.
Well, with that, folks, that concludes. It's going to be about the banks we deserve. The banks we deserve. We have a national author, a journalist that's going to join us tomorrow. We're going to be educating us. There's a local credit union here in the Twin Cities that this guy did a research about traveling all over the country, about yes, a great research, but I don't want to give all away. Tomorrow he's going to be here. It's going to be a great topic. So please join us tomorrow, same time, 7:30. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. My man, Jerry, man, be a regular on here. TaylorMade, as always, man, you always hit it out of the park. So good night from the great state of Iowa. So thank you guys, and good night, everyone. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.